An entire generation was almost wiped from this tiny Welsh village. 240 pupils at Pantglas Junior School in Aberfan were sitting down for their last lesson before half-term. Within minutes, more than 100 were dead. At 9:15, they were buried alive by an avalanche of coal waste that swept down the mountainside and engulfed them. The slurry covered some homes and a local farm, but it was the classrooms that bore the brunt. The battle immediately began to try and save the lives of those trapped by debris. People poured in to help. Firefighters, miners, parents. Around 2,000 worked tirelessly. Many formed human conveyor belts to clear the rubble. Hour after hour after hour. No one gave up, though as time passed, hopes of finding their loved ones alive began to fade. Miraculously, some were rescued. Jeff Edwards was the last survivor to be pulled out from the rubble at around midday. 144 people died that day. 116 were children. Most pupils aged between 7 and 10. A week later, a joint funeral was held for all of the victims. The 2,000 people who tried to save them were all there. The Queen, who was 40 at the time, came to pay her respects a day after that. Her Majesty says coming so late is one of her biggest regrets. But those who lived through the disaster say she brought hope. The community worked together to try to rebuild. A disaster fund raised nearly £2 million, with over 40 countries making donations. But the search for answers was drawn out. The report into the tribunal that started in November was finally published 10 months later. A story of the Coal Board who tried to evade blame for the tragedy their ineptitude created. The specific cause of the collapse was listed as a build-up of water in the pile. Heavy rain had fallen in the days before. But it was the NCB who were found guilty of extreme negligence for failing to heed clear warnings. No one was prosecuted or lost their job. Changes were made, though. New legislation was passed about public safety for mines and quarries, with a strict policy on the practice of tipping introduced. Coal once completely dominated this valley, from the pit head below to the slay heaps above. The scar tissue of Aberfan is still healing, and half a century on, the impact remains profound.
Ignition. Lift off.
If you don't represent women in politics,